called My Bitch Better Have My Money.
What's going on, everyone? December 8th, when I'm shooting this video, probably have it up within a day or two of actually shooting this. Just wanted to do the final update for the PSA card order that they lost of mine. If you recall, which I'm sure all of you watching this video recall, PSA actually lost 3 of my cards in an order that I got back earlier this year. I got that order back in May, and what had happened was they lost 3 of my cards. They sent me 7 cards that weren't mine. For those of you, of course, that watched every moment, hung on every word of that cliffhanger, but still needed a refresher, I'll link the video to that, of course. But basically what it was a Barry Sanders 89 Topps Traded rookie, Chris Bosh 2003 Topps rookie, 9. The Sanders was a 9 as well. And there was a Charles Barkley Skybox insert from 95 Skybox, I believe. And that one also was a 9. So when I got the package back and I was going through, I noticed that there were some cards in there that weren't mine. They were junk. So you're up to date on that if you haven't seen any of that. Basically what happened back then was I went ahead, I filed the insurance claim. I actually heard back from them pretty quickly on it. So I was like, whoa, this is going to get resolved super quick. Turns out the individual who was working on the insurance side of things started bullshitting. I talked about in the previous video about how it had been several weeks and I tried to reach out to her. She finally got back to me, and I noticed that there were individuals on the CC line within that email. So I wrote her back a little while later and made sure that those CC individuals were included on that message, because I figured that was some way to get resolution. I figured that those individuals on that CC line were far more important than me, that they were CC'd on that email for a reason. And once I did that, she got back to me pretty quickly. But remember, this is back in June when this is happening. Now, the other side of things worked fine. What they went ahead and did was, if you recall those cards that had been sent to me that weren't mine, I contacted them, let them know, did the honest thing like I'm supposed to do, sent the cards back. They gave me a label to send them back, did that same day they gave me the label. They went ahead and they issued a $250 credit to me for my honesty. The cards were garbage. I felt bad for the individual who actually graded those cards, because even if those cards were 10s, they still had no value. I think the best card in there might have been like a Larry Johnson rookie. And then I believe there was a Larry Bird Hoops All-Star from 90 Hoops, but those of course scored 8s. They had a bunch of terrible grades. There was a Mark Jackson, the card with the Menendez brothers on it. That one scored a 4. So there were a bunch of garbage cards in there. Sent them back. They issued me a $250 credit to my credit card, or a refund, I should say. That side of things was fine, because as I talked about when I was talking about that video, the cards that were lost of mine, the 3 9s, they probably had a total value in that grade of about $80, $90. The Barry Sanders Topps Traded rookie, that would be the most valuable of the lot. So what I talked about in the previous video was that if they never did anything on the insurance front, it was still worth it, because they sent me a $250 credit. Granted, that was for the honesty and everything, but I didn't feel like I was getting ripped off in any particular way. However, since the insurance claim was still out there, I was still going to try to follow up on it, see if they were going to go ahead and honor things on that front.
My hoe better have my money. I'm telling you, that boy's a genius. Tell it. Not half, not some, but all my cash.
What happened was several months went by and I wasn't getting anywhere with it. And I talked about this in a video. And that's when Jason offered to help. So ECB, shout out to him. He offered to intervene. You know, he's a big timer on YouTube. He's got way more subs than me. He's got the inside connection. But I actually told him that I was okay. I didn't really want anybody getting involved, because I knew some things that I had done behind the scenes were a little unsavory. And I didn't want his name attached to it, because I'm pretty sure if he knew the things that I had said or done after that moment to try to get the insurance claim moved forward, then he might not be so and his name were to be attached to it without my having told these things to him, then he probably would have been like, what the hell is up with this guy? Why didn't he tell me these things? Because, you know, that's his name, that's his reputation, that's his contact that he offered to reach out to. So that's the reason why in the comments section when he offered to help, I was like, oh, you know, I think they're going to handle it. Let's give it a little more time. If need be, I'll let you know so you can get involved. I appreciate your help, so on and so forth. Knowing full well that I was never going to seek his assistance, just because, like I said, it's his reputation, it's his contact over there at PSA that he would have reached out to on my behalf. You have to save those karma points for yourself, so to speak, that goodwill that you build up, save it for yourself. But basically what had happened was I had an order that was in grading. It was a 409 card order from last year. I still haven't posted videos of that yet. I've been working on this Merlin Blaster series for the World Cup, but those videos will start to trickle out here shortly in the next couple weeks, around Christmas time or so. And I still have to finish my vacation series. But those cards, 409 cards from last year, was roughly about $5,000 for those cards. After they lost the order and were bullshitting on getting me the insurance money back, and I had been in touch with the rep, and she had calculated a total for me. It's like $196, something like that. Again, no big deal. Then what happened was that 24 card crossover order hit, and a lot of you have seen the video. I'll link it above if you haven't, but I screwed myself over on that when I removed the minimum grade from it, and I did that submission last year at $12, but I left the cards in the SGC slabs, and 20 of the 24 cards came back lower. The average grade lower was about 1.3 to 1.5 grades lower. So a 9 would come back a 7.5 on average, something like that. Tons of 10s came back as 9s. 9s were coming back as 8s. Lesson learned, crack your cards out of slabs. But that was the very first time I had submitted a crossover, and I just took for granted the things that people kind of said, where SGC is a little bit tougher grader. In hindsight, I'm sure there's some validity to that in terms of the 9.5s they give out versus the 10s. But anyway, getting back on track. When that happened, I was pissed, right? Like, I was like, oh my God. Right in the moment when I got that order, maybe pissed wasn't the good word. I was a little disappointed, enraged. Obviously, at myself, I can accept responsibility. So in that immediate moment, it kind of coincided with when the payment was going to be due for that 409 card order. And I still had the insurance claim out there. So things were kind of going a little awry with PSA. So what I told them, and Jason, this is why I didn't take you up on it, was I told them basically they could stick it on the 409 card order. I changed the payment method to an expired credit card so that it couldn't be charged. And once they found out it couldn't be charged, and then once I contacted them and I told them, hey, I'm not doing anything, I'm upset over this order and the insurance claim, blah, blah, blah. Well, that got their attention. And that was the point. And they got in touch with me because the reason I did that also was they weren't getting in touch with me about resolving the insurance claim. Granted, I think it was probably more just my annoyance at the crossover. And when I took a moment to step back from it, a couple days later, or a day or two later, I realized it was more my mistake for having belief in what was in the slabs would come out for the crossover, because when I thought about it later, there are a lot of things that could happen after a card is slabbed up. Cards could be in slabs for years, they could get banged up, so on and so forth. What I'm going to do though with a lot of those slabs is I'm going to crack them out of their PSA slab and see if they're worthy of resubbing. That'll be a 2023 video that I'll probably do before my membership expires, whenever that is, April or May. That again is the reason why I didn't take you up on your offer, Jason, is because I knew that things behind the scenes, I was causing drama there. So the order finishes, they finally get in touch with me because I told them I'm not paying. Like I said, I basically told them to stick it. I told them they can take the cards themselves and start selling them for me. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I would keep telling them, oh, the market sucks now. You know, those cards aren't worth anything. I don't trust your grading, blah, 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 blah. Poo, 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 boo, 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 being a baby, sucking on a bottle, right? Being a big old baby with a shitty diaper. All the while, though, obviously I knew I was going to pay. I was just kind of trolling them a little bit, being terrible. Shocker, right? If you've seen any of my past videos, shocker, right? That I would be kind of a cynic and a goofball like that. Eventually, what happened was it did get people's attention. It got several people's attention, and they reached out to me finally and started getting things moving, but they were saying that they weren't going to release the insurance money until I actually went ahead and paid for the cards. So they were basically trying to hold me hostage for that payment, which, you know, it's understandable. Businesses have to be in business to make money. And additionally, what I did was I filed with my credit card company on the particular order where the cards were lost. And I filed a chargeback, but only for the amount of what the insurance claim was supposed to be. That order had 100-ish cards in it, and the cost of that was $1,100, $1,200. I told them, hey, they said they're going to send me $196. I just want to dispute part of it. So that got their attention as well, the attention of the accounting department and the attention of some other individuals as well. So that really kind of got the shitstorm behind the scenes brewing even more. Eventually what happened was I got it in writing with emails that they were going to go ahead and send me the insurance money finally once I went ahead and paid for the order. So I paid for the order, it's fine. Like I said, I intended to all along. But of course, they drag their feet. The rep disappears again. So you saw her name in the previous video. In some ways she was really good, but in other ways, just a slacker. Right? I'm not going to sit here and give her credit overall for how things worked out. Things resolved in the end, but still it took them until around September to get me the check. So it took all the way from May until September, 4 to 5 months to get the check in my hand for an insurance claim, when it was something in the beginning that she said was only going to take a few weeks.
It's better have my money through rain, sleet, or snow.
They were telling me, oh, we're going to try to locate your cards. I knew that wasn't going to happen, because that would mean a situation where somebody got my cards, them having to be honest like I was when I got cards that weren't mine, and them having to return them to PSA, which clearly somebody out there has my cards and is dishonest. What can you do though? You can't expect somebody to make up for PSA's mistake. As I was saying though, you had the situation where it took far longer. I was sitting there, I had that shitty crossover order. I really had lost faith in them at the time in terms of grading. The grades turned out fine though, from that 409 card order. Like I said, you'll see. Some things turned out a little bit lower than expected, but overall, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it kind of restored faith in their graders a little bit. Now, of course, I've seen other videos since then where PSA swapped out a guy's Trey Lance, I'll link that video, with a totally different card. And other people have had cards lost as well, but this is just me kind of putting a bow on things. I'm trying to put a wrap on these videos that have been going on that haven't been resolved. All in all, everything was fine. They sent me the insurance money, everything's done. Still not grading with PSA for now. I'll probably get back to it April of next year. They're at $15 a card right now. Will they lower it a little more? 15 bucks a card is manageable, but there's no real urgency to grade at this point because the market's pretty much on life support for individuals who flip. If you collect more so and sell things here and there like I do, then as I said, there's no real urgency unless I pulled something super banger-ish. But again, just wanted to give kind of a final update. This video is running long. I'm gonna cut it off here. Like I said, everything worked out fine. They lost 3 of my cards, sent me 7 of someone else's. I returned those cards, got $250 credit to my credit card. Eventually, they got me the insurance money, $196-ish. Took about 5 months. And I was being kind of a douche behind the scenes, just trolling, especially trolling that representative Angel, because she was taking forever. And I get mistakes happen, so I wasn't tripping too hard on it. They're a huge company, millions and millions of cards going through there each month. So I get it, and it wasn't a big deal. Cards were low value anyway, but I still wanted them to resolve it. So that's all I got, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this before Christmas or around New Year's, happy holidays, everyone. Hopefully you're doing well. That's my PSA experience, and that's the first time I've really had issues with them on the lost card front. I would kind of doubt that I would have issues with them over the next few years, but hey, it happened, and again, just wanted to bring a final update. So thanks for watching, everybody. That was my PSA lost cards insurance money claim, being a douche behind the scenes journey. Hopefully you're doing well, everyone. Take care.